Now recording.
The following podcast may have adult humor,
swear words,
innuendos of a adult nature.
making fun of me.
That's a given. Everybody looks forward to that. But just know that you have been warned, so you listen at your own eardrum's peril.
Good God.
Lovely Craig. Sometimes you got to whip him, Pepper. But, you know, he comes in eventually. Hey, everybody. This is Richard, and with me I have, of course, Jesse, co-host of the Blind Nights podcast. We have a special guest with us today, the lovely Pepper the Fox, that as she introduced herself to me the first time, I am Pepper the Fox because I am Pepper and the Fox. So, Pepper, introduce yourself to us if you don't mind.
Well, hello, lovelies. I am, actually Pepper the Vixen now. I had a little bit of a change, not long ago, but, you know, Vixen, Fox, close enough. I'm, Pepper the Vixen on Twitter and Twitch and, basically everywhere. And, I am a blind musician and game streamer. And I need to stop clapping my hands.
I do the same
I'm a
thing.
little excitable.
In fact, I hadn't even noticed that you had changed it to the Vixen, because usually I hear like Pepper, and you know, I go by like however I met you the first time. That's just the ignorance in me, you know.
No worries. It was just a little bit of a rebrand to get everything a little bit more consistent, get the same name everywhere, you know, because it wasn't taken, so it's like, okay, I guess I'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. If it's not taken, take it. Ain't that right, Jesse?
Yes, I would agree.
You got to keep him interested, Pepper, or else he just.
Here we go. I was very interested.
Let me go over a little bit of Knights of the Braille news, because it's the Blind Nights podcast.
This is where I get uninterested. No, I'm kidding.
Exactly, all the time. We have some games on the Discord. We have an upcoming one-shot of Cats, which I am extremely interested in being a part of.
Wait, there's a game called Cats?
There's also a game called Pugmire, which is about dogs.
What is this cat game?
Next week. That's what I was trying to tell everybody before you interrupted me.
Well, you said we also have, so I thought you were just going on. Sorry, go ahead.
Pepper, you see what I deal with all the time. But we also have a new game on the server ran by Karen, which is Wonder Home. I have heard of this game, but never played it. Never even looked into it. But from what I can tell, it is a very heavy role play based game. Have either of you ever played this game?
No, and I've never heard of it.
I have not heard of it either.
But yeah, everybody definitely check it out. I think it can be a lot of fun. I mean, what role playing game isn't fun though? You know, unless you're all rules heavy, which is definitely not me. Also, upcoming, we have the Everyone Games event, which is going to be September the 30th and October the 1st from 7 a.m. until 1 a.m. on September the 30th. And then from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. on October the 1st, there's going to be the Dungeon World. I believe, Pepper, you're doing a Stardew Valley session. I think it's what I remember reading.
I am. I will be doing Stardew Valley, and I'll be playing with Stardew Access. And mind you, I am fully blind, so that's going to be quite fun getting to show that off.
That's one of the games that I know me and you've talked about, because I'm really interested in it too, because I grew up on the farm. Let's see, there's going to be a Pathfinder 2E game I know of, and several notable celebrities that I can't unfortunately mention at the time, which means Pepper, you can't either, because I know you're involved in that channel and have to, you know, shame Pepper for releasing names. But of course, if I accidentally do, I do blame Pepper for releasing the name because I'm never wrong and I'm never in trouble.
Sure. Blame the fox.
First thing he ever said when he met me, was, I'm never blamed for anything. I don't do anything wrong. And I left my first session and I said to someone, I said, "That guy's kind of an asshole. I don't know if I like him or not."
I am quite the asshole. Let's see. That's really about it for the Everyone Games news. Check out the website at www.everyone-games.com for more information and to keep a check on the schedule. But with that planning of the event, Pepper had begun talking about different apps that are accessible and help her out. So I asked if she would kindly be on the show. And Jesse, I really wanted Pepper to educate the both of us because I know how we are. So without further ado, Pepper, I give the virtual microphone to you.
Well, thank you. So, yes, I have mentioned a few reader apps. Now, as a blind person, and I imagine quite a lot of blind people will agree with me, PDFs are the worst thing.
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
And I have some very strong opinions about PDFs, among which is PDFs are unfit for human consumption. Unfortunately,
the ones that are just scans.
Oh, they're so bad. And then fillable PDFs. Fillable PDFs. Just why? But anyway, the point is, they suck. And unfortunately, I don't really have any good options for fillable PDFs. But let's say you are in school and you have an accommodation for a book in an accessible format, and your Disability Resource Center sends you over some 300-page PDF file from the publisher. How do you read this thing? Well, I use a few apps myself. There's 3 apps that I talked about. We've got the Books app, which is on pretty much every Apple device, and 2 that I quite like to use. On the Windows side is a program called QRead, and on the Apple side, there is Voice Dream Reader, which I am sure many of you will be at least tangentially familiar with.
Okay, I got one question right off the bat. What was that T word? What does it mean? I told you I'm not very smart.
Tangentially, it means you're kind of like it's a term from mathematics where if you have a curve and you pick a point on this curve and you draw a line which goes off parallel to that point, it's like a straight line coming off the curve. That is a tangent. So when you use it in the sense of like, you know, something's tangentially related, it kind of shoots off from the original topic. It's like when you go off on a tangent where you start ranting about something that is vaguely related to the topic at hand, but then it just kind of does its own thing.
See, Jesse, that's what tangentially means. See, I asked it.
So he said tangential. She said tangential. But yes, I've used Voice Dream Reader.
Well, I have not. So tell us about, you know, the different apps, because y'all know me. I do the conversion, and I'm looking for any help I can get. So again, Pepper, take it away. Okay.
Well, I'll start with the Books app on Apple devices because, I mean, let's face it, blind people, most of us, we got iPhones, whether we like them or not. And the Books app is easily one of the most accessible. And there's not a whole lot to it. You open it up on your iPhone, you open it up on your Mac or your iPad, and You can load in a PDF file, you can load in an EPUB file, and VoiceOver will work reasonably well. Nothing fancy, but it gets the job done. And it kinda does fillable PDFs. Depends on how good the PDF is. I don't really use it for fillable stuff. And when it comes to reading, well, first of all, EPUB is the better format. Fight me. But you can throw Summit in there, and it'll probably read it. But let's say that you've got some money to spend, and maybe you are on your Windows laptop because your school uses Windows because they got some big grant from Microsoft or whatever. What do you use? Well, there's Adobe Acrobat Reader, which I've never gotten it to play nice with my screen reader, so I don't really understand why it's the go-to. Maybe there is some weird button that says make Acrobat accessible somewhere that I just haven't found. I don't know. I can't see it. Haha. So I use this app called QRead, and that is literally the letter Q and then read. And this thing is it's a paid app. It was, well, when I bought it, it was $35. I don't know how much it is now. Hopefully it's still the same price, but it's produced by this one guy. And they have this whole suite of apps, which they call the Q Continuum. And as a Star Trek nerd, I gotta say, best name ever. But anyway, QRead. You can load in a PDF. You can load in an EPUB. You can load in books from Bookshare. I believe I actually have it open on my desktop right now. You've got you've got controls for you can open new stuff, import directly from Bookshare. You can get word count, jump to certain documents, get, page counts, navigate by all that. You've also got options for speech to read it out to you. I don't find it too helpful because it's basically just start and stop, and it'll start from the beginning of the book.
Almost like Adobe's text-to-speech thing that
I've actually never used Adobe's.
it will read it, but like Pepper is saying with QRead, it reads it's either reading or it's not. No navigation at
Their
all.
books have all that junk at the beginning too.
Yes. I'm sorry,
Gotcha.
Pepper. I was
No
just trying
worries.
to agree with you.
Yeah. So this thing works reasonably well, but with like pretty much any other PDF reader, you have to have some at least proper formatting. I've had some issues, especially with column content, where it will jump from text on one column to another, and it will be very confusing. And I've had some sighted people fix this by running it through Acrobat and doing like a text reflow thing. Please don't ask me how that works because I don't know. And it works a little better. But this it really works best with EPUB because, again, PDFs are just the absolute worst thing. And if there's any accessibility consultants listening, please give your students and clients EPUB files. They're so much nicer. They're HTML documents in a wrapper. So you can have things like headings, and you can highlight text, and you can add notes and bookmarks, and they're very, very, very nice.
Speaking of that, have you ever heard of or used Foxit PDF?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Have you ever heard of or used Foxit PDF?
I have not, but the fact that it has Fox in the name has piqued my interest. Do tell me more.
It is free. The basic reader is free, should I say. They try to gear things toward accessibility. they had the same, if I remember right, the same payment plan as Adobe does. Was it $14 or $15 a month if you want to be able to make them and sign them and yada yada yada. I just care about reading them. It seems to work really good on Windows. I know there is a Mac version. I don't have Mac other than like my iDevices, but Foxit seems to me to be a lot better than Adobe. I've had the same problems with you with Adobe, where it pops up. For me, it pops up try your 7-day trial that I cannot, for the life of me, figure out how to close, and it throws the whole PDF off for me. But Foxit, no problems whatsoever. They do have a free trial, which I have used and used up, of course, and I love it. Will I pay for it? Eventually, whenever I get Jesse's debit card information. But, it's definitely one I think everybody should check out. I would rate it, from what I know of it, at least 4 stars.
Okay. That sounds pretty freaking good, honestly. I'd never heard of Foxit, but, it's accessible. It's called Foxit. I like foxes. I pretend to be a cartoon fox on the internet, so, that should tell you how much I like them.
Exactly. But yeah, I think you want to check it out. I mean, it may not be for everybody because I'm like you. I absolutely hate PDFs. I hate going to look at, say, Drive-Thru RPG and downloading yet another rule book and knowing that, I'm fixing to have to convert this one so I can read it.
Yeah, I did that the other.
You do that the other day.
I did that the other day with a game because it was free, and it's like this page is blank, and I'm like, man, thank God I didn't pay for that.
And it's horrible, but so far I've not run across one with Foxit that I've had anything other than like unusual issues with, and that's the whole text column things, which I hate tables as well. But then again, I am a grumpy old man, so pretty much anything I can find to moan and groan about, I'm going to moan and groan about. But everybody check it out. Really, really good software. And I believe Foxit is one word. I never looked into that. I just did the Google for Foxit, and it pulls it up automatically. So definitely check it out.
That sounds excellent. You said it was on Windows and Mac?
I did see that they had a Mac version. I can't attest to the accessibility of the Mac, but I know with Windows, I haven't had an issue other than, the normal table. I've even navigated some PDFs that had headings in it, by using I use JAWS to the H key, to hop down to the next heading. So it seems to take the formats really well. In fact, I bought a rule book earlier this morning, and I can almost hear everybody like groaning because, I buy a lot of them. And it's called Monster Card, made by Accessible Games, and they have layered the PDF. Other than 1 or 2 other PDFs that Accessible Games puts out, like their magazine, it was so easy to navigate. I mean, just like a web page or like an EPUB, for you. It's beautiful. I mean, I almost cried, but then again, I can't do that because I didn't have any tissues, but it navigated so beautifully.
That honestly sounds amazing. And I gotta say, I want to give a shout out to the people who do all of the layering, who go the extra mile to try and make your PDFs more accessible. I have read a few rule books where I actually found headings and tables, and it leaves me floored whenever I find an accessible PDF, which I don't think it should. I think accessibility should be the default, but it's not.
I agree with you. The sad thing is we're in 2022 now, and you would think now, if ever, this wouldn't be a problem, and yet it still is. Like, we should be able to open up a PDF and not have to worry about, oh, is this going to read or not?
It is really frustrating, and I wish that standard would change. I wish that people would be a little more cognizant of the fact that PDFs, visually they're fine, but you start trying to navigate them semantically. I'm not sure if that's the correct use of the word here. You use that in HTML when you're referring to using tags, but when you start navigating them with a screen reader, it just falls apart.
It's very frustrating to try to keep up with the flow of the text of the paragraph.
Yeah.
At least for me, it is. You know, and you were talking about the voice stream. And I'm sure we have a lot of Mac users, you know, that listen. At least one of the two people that listens to the podcast, maybe one of them has a Mac. But
Well, one of your, it's not here at my house, but your co-host has old Mac.
I'll see, but see, I don't. So, tell us about the voice stream. How is it with accessibility?
Voice stream reader. Well, first of all, it's like $20. I think it's like you can purchase it as a bundle with all of the other voice stream stuff, including the voice packs, and I think it's like $35, which, if we're talking mobile app prices, that is astronomically expensive. But it is available on Mac as well as iOS, and I would say it's worth the money. It's worth the money. Buy it, buy it, buy it.
It's a great iOS app. That's where I used it. And it's, you can't go wrong with it, I don't think.
Oh yeah, it's great. The first time that I got Voice Dream Reader, funny, I'd actually purchased a book, an EPUB file from Bad Dog Books, which is a furry publisher. Go figure. And I needed something to read it in, and I wanted to read it on my phone, and I tried using the Books app, which again, it's fine. It gets the job done, but that's about it. Sometimes it's not great, and in this case, it's not the most pleasant experience when reading a long format book. So I get Voice Dream Reader, and I can get this thing to read the book to me, which is really nice. Now, when it comes to stories, I heavily prefer audiobooks, but sometimes audiobooks aren't available. So this is kind of the next best thing. You can choose the voice, you can choose the speed, there's gestures to scrub and navigate through. And a fun thing I found out, I have AirPods Pro, and it works with the spatial audio, which kind of threw me for a loop the first time I heard it. I started and I'm like, wait, what? Is something playing outside? What the heck is going on? And then I started moving my head around and I realized, oh, that's the app. So that was fun.
That does sound really, really cool, though.
Oh yeah. And this app, it's fantastic. It'll read you the book. It's great. It's relatively easy to use. There's a small bit of a learning curve. There's a number of gestures in there, but I don't think they're too difficult to learn. I had a very frustrating time when I first started because I had apparently inadvertently turned on screen recognition at some point, so that was a fun 30 minutes. And let me think here. There's other apps. There's other ones. There's like Voice Dream Writer and a couple of others, and you can get some custom voice packs. And I'm going to be completely honest, I haven't opened up the other apps. I really, really should, because, you know, I paid for them.
Right.
I've been there though.
But
I know what you mean.
yeah, it's oh boy. I mean, I've done that with so many other things. Like I got the student software bundle from Apple, and like all I've done is use Logic Pro. And I've done that with so many other music plugin bundles too, but I digress.
We're not going to talk about how many Audible books I have that are unread.
Oh dear.
That's my weakness. 2 books a month, like that's my problem.
I try to read all of my books, but I'll admit I have a few in my library that have gone unread.
I have a few myself, but no judgment here, except for Jesse. You know,
Yeah.
we judge him all the time.
Right. I'm used to
Yeah.
it. It's what it is. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
That's really awesome with the apps, though, Pepper. You know, and I guess we really both helped each other out here because, you know, I learned a little bit about the ones that you have, and you know, I can tell you about one that was, you know, we're gonna say it was named after you. You know, that's what we're gonna say. You know,
That works for me.
what you think, Jesse? You think we can say that
Sure.
Fox is
Yeah.
named after?
It was named after people. Why not?
Yeah.
No one's here to tell us otherwise. So
Oh
Exactly.
yeah, like,
we're
like
telling the
listen,
truth.
listen. Don't tell anyone this. It's very secret. But the creators of Foxit, they came up to me years ago, and they were like,
Excuse me, Pepper. We want to set up a deal with you. We want to name our app after you.
"Oh, you want to name your app after me, and you want to give me money? Sure.
Yes, but don't tell anyone. It's very important.
Okay, I won't tell anyone."
And then, of course, they said that they misplaced your bank account information, so you're not getting any royalties off of it. And,
Oh yeah, no, it's a whole ordeal.
yeah,
It's terrible.
I went through the same thing with the Jelly Belly Jelly Bean Company because you know my nickname's Bean, and
That's
know,
true.
oh, it's horrible, Pepper. It's horrible.
I have no story like that, so I guess I'm just not interesting enough.
Well, I could tell you the whole story with the whole coffee bean thing too, but we don't have that kind of time. You know, it's just horrible. But Pepper, you got anything else to tell us about these apps?
Well, I do want to give an honorary mention to one more. This one I actually got told about by a friend who works in cybersecurity, and it is called Caliber, or as I like to say, Calibre. And it's supposed to work with NVDA, and it's got this whole like cross-platform thing, and like you can read stuff like on your Apple Watch if you wanted to, because I believe there's a Windows and a Mac and an iOS version. Don't quote me on that. I never could get it to function though. Maybe I wasn't doing something right, but
I agree with you. I couldn't
might
either
be
ever.
something toying there. No, okay,
I
good.
could
I'm
never
not
get
the
it to
only
work
one
on
then.
Windows. No.
Okay,
See,
yeah.
I'm gonna lie to both of y'all and say I use it all the time.
Really?
You know? Not really. No, I've heard of it, but
darn.
yeah, I passed my persuasion roll. I got the nat 20, and you know it's all good.
You didn't
But
roll, you just made it up.
Yes, but I have actually heard of the program, and I
Okay.
read good reviews of it.
I have
But
two.
like
Yeah.
y'all, I've never gotten it to work.
Yeah, there's supposed to be like an NVDA add-on, and I download it, and I don't know, maybe it doesn't work with the current version of NVDA or something. So it sounds great. I can't make it work.
I understand completely, and everybody else who's ever dealt with this, and all of us have at one point in time. It is so frustrating to have an app that you know is supposed to work. Then you
Yep.
pull it up and
Yes.
it does not work with your screen reader.
And then
Oh,
you
tell me about
contact the
it.
people and they'll say something like, "Oh, we've never heard of this problem." I don't know how many times I've had a screen reader problem, and the company, I won't name any names, the tech support people say, "We've never heard of that problem." Well, I'm not lying to you about my problem. Like, how can I be the only person in the world that has this?
Because you are Jesse.
Maybe that is it.
And I know if it can happen, it will happen to me. You know,
I feel the same way. Yeah.
like only where I live do I have to get a paper signed that shows I'm blind whenever you can see that
Oh, I
I'm
do
blind.
too. I did too.
Next question for y'all. Only in Georgia do the Department of Motor Vehicles try to give you your driver's license when you're blind. True
Yeah.
story.
It,
True story.
it-
Happened to me.
how does
I
that
remember
work?
you telling me that story. I think.
I don't know if the person was having a bad day or maybe they were intoxicated or just flat out retard. I don't know. But for 30 minutes, they tried to give me my license back whenever I went to get an ID made after I had my wreck. And I finally pointed out, I said, lady, you see what color shirt you got on? Yeah, I can't. Oh, well, you just need your ID then.
Oh crap! I remember that. That is so frustrating.
And I was like, yes, ma'am. And she said, well, go stand behind that yellow line over there. And I just, I just stood there. But you
She just
know,
had to be dumb. No offense, but she had to be dumb.
well, she was probably a relative, but you know, she should know better anyway.
This episode is brought to you by the Knights of the Braille and is made possible through the support of viewers such as you. Please remember to like, share and subscribe to get all of the latest information and episodes. Thank you.